Hello there. I suspect you're familiar with the expression, I just had my bubble burst, or please don't burst my bubble. And I want to talk about what that means and the implications of allowing your bubble to be burst. The first thing to understand is what that means. Having your bubble burst means somebody has infiltrated this illusion of what is real and what is not real. Your bubble could also be referred to as your comfort zone. The relationships, the rules, the rituals, the routines that you surround yourself with to prevent yourself from experiencing disruption, challenge, upset, anything. The people that become really, really easily offended are the ones that have very fragile bubbles and are uniquely dependent upon their fantasy, their story of the way things are. Well, if you're like me, life is tremendous at stepping up and not just bursting your bubble, but downright stomping on it. I thought, like any other ignorant teenager, that I had nothing but smooth sailing ahead, that I was doing everything right, the universe was going to be great to me. Then I was diagnosed with cancer. Lost virtually all my friendships. My girlfriend dumped me. I didn't know whether I was going to live or die. And I could not go back to my bubble after that because too many things have been brought into question, from what relationships mean when someone tells you we're always going to be friends. Can you trust that? Promises my girlfriend and I had made to each other. Relationships that I thought were unconditional were suddenly very conditional. You know what I'm getting at. All those things, my faith went in the toilet. And I end up finding a different spiritual path. So many things shifted. And just when I'd created a new bubble for myself, gotten back into some sense of normalcy, I ended up getting married, having 3 kids. Guess what? Your kids have autism. Now you have to deal with that. So my fantasy of what my role as a parent was going to look like popped. And I had to make adjustments and get into a new groove. And just when I thought I was hitting full steam again, boom, divorce. It just keeps coming. And as much as you try to securely enshrine yourself in this fantasy, reality will always find its way in, because reality is what's calling the shots. Now, what is reality? Reality are the things you can't change, the things you can't predict. But they are things you must adjust to. So how do you do that? It's not exactly the warmest idea to think, hey, today something's going to show up and kick me square between the eyes. Well, you don't know that it is or that it isn't. But what you can realize is that reality is fluid. Reality has its own agenda, so to speak. The bubble is what keeps us safe. The bubble is what makes us feel like we're in control, when the reality is neither of those are options. Safety is a temporary feeling based on the circumstances you're in. I'm an incredible fall risk because of my conditions. I'm not safe. I'm sitting in my chair right now. I feel pretty secure, pretty comfortable, but safe? I need to be aware of potential risks. Risk is different than danger. Risk means there are things that are out of my control. I do my darndest to have influence where I can, but there's always risk. To try and create a life where you are convinced you have no risk, that's just more illusion. That's more fantasy. Trying to live a risk-free life, impossible. Unless you want to be incredibly lonely, where you'll never have heartbreak, or you never want to work so that you'll never disappoint a supervisor, whatever it is. There's always risk, but risk does not always mean danger. It doesn't mean life-threatening. It just means there's a chance that you will be challenged, maybe beyond your skill set, so you'll then have to risk asking for help. All of those opportunities outside your bubble gain you greater opportunities than you would ever find inside your bubble. Now, I talk a lot about the services that I offer people, and they're pretty amazing. You can just read the testimonials. And yet you, in particular, have never reached out to me. And I want to ask you, where's the threat? What are you afraid of? Do you believe that the fantasy of security inside your bubble is so preferable to the idea of growing, discovering your strength, your resilience, your resourcefulness? Is it so threatening to open your heart up to somebody else and risk being loved unconditionally for the first time, maybe ever, or the first time in a long time? Would you much prefer the sanctity of the fantasy of your bubble, even if it costs you the opportunities to love deeply, feel connected, feel purposeful, feel fearless, feel like you can be exactly who you are here to be? Or would you prefer your bubble? I invite you to step into a new pasture, meadow, a new mountain to climb, whatever you want to call it. But there's no bubbles there. There's only open arms, there to receive you, accept you, and hug you, and hold you up while you take risks to be a much bigger, better you. Because that's what we're here for. We're here for growth. We're not here for stagnation. Growth is always available to you once you decide to step outside the bubble. I've had my bubble burst, I don't know how many times, probably started when the whole Santa Claus thing came to reality. But every time a bubble of mine was burst and I stepped into reality, guess what happened? I grew. I became wiser. I became stronger. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Physically is another question. We won't go there right now. But allowing yourself to step outside your bubble is allowing yourself to become a better version of you. Staying inside the bubble, you just stay exactly where you are. You don't grow. You don't evolve. You don't become wiser. You end up just reaching the end of your life saying, how was I thinking? I wish I'd taken more risks. I wish I hadn't worked so hard to play it safe. And that's what I'm offering you. Step into the arena with us and learn just how powerful you can be. Until next time, remember, no matter what's happening in your life, you're good enough. And thanks for being you.